Good afternoon, members of the press. Good afternoon, members of the public, my colleagues, our friends. We are here as the Law Society of Kenya, Nakuru chapter, with me as advocate practicing within town here in Nakuru. I also have our branch president and I have a vice president from the national office. We are here to speak on the ongoing police brutality cases that are happening in our country, most so in Nairobi. We've also had here in our own town, the police have murdered a young man. We are not sure whether it is one or several. We are yet to get the correct details on how many people have been murdered by the police. As the Law Society of Kenya, we want to uphold the Constitution, the right to life, the right to speech, and we want to emphasize on the start of our Constitution that sovereignty belongs to the people, and the people have the power. If we are living in a country where we cannot express ourselves as the youth, we cannot post on our social media pages, we cannot speak freely because we fear we are going to be abducted, we fear we are going to be murdered, we fear we'll disappear and never be found again. It is quite a sad state of affairs. As the Law Society of Kenya and the upholders of the law, the people who fight for human rights, as public defenders, we wish to condemn these acts in the strongest way possible. Allow me not to say much because my colleagues still have other things to say. I'll invite our branch president, Mr. Muchela, to give his speech.
Thank you. As you've heard, my name is Aston Muchela, the chair of LSK Rift Valley branch. We want to add our voice to condemn the acts of human rights violation that we are witnessing in this country, and it is a sad state of affairs that people are losing lives, people's rights are being violated under the hand and the watch of the very people who have been mandated by law to protect life. It is sad that even here in Nakuru, we are hearing reports of a citizen who was shot by an armed police officer, and this has actually led to the demonstrations that we have been witnessing here in Nakuru. We do wonder why our policemen, trained as they are, why they cannot exercise some restraint. Yes, we know that there could be provocation, but they are supposed to exercise restraint. You cannot open fire to someone who is not armed. There cannot be a defense of provocation or self-defense when you are opening fire to someone who is not armed. And these things are coming short after we had just dealt with the issue of Brian Odhiambo, whom to date his body has never been found. Yet he was last seen with the KWS officers. In Nairobi, we heard of now the late Albert, who was last seen again with police officers at Nairobi Central Police Station. And we are wondering, is this a pattern that is likely to take shape in this country? We need to be very concerned. As citizens, as all players in the justice sector, we need to be very concerned. We need to raise our voices. Let us not cow. Let us not just assume that these things will be swept under the carpet, because if we do that, then the next thing will have a country that is being governed by anarchy. We want to call upon the judiciary, and every time I have an opportunity, I normally call the judiciary. You are our last line of defense. Whenever issues of human rights violations are being brought to the judiciary, please don't take it lightly, because the boldness with which we are seeing our law enforcement officers are violating human rights, it makes us think that they believe they are above the law. So these things will be coming to your doorstep, members of the judiciary. Please do not take these things lightly. If the issue of Brian Odhiambo will have been taken with the weight it deserved, maybe Albert will have been alive today. And we just want to call out to the CS Interior, Murkomen. We've heard you say that you cannot take steps because you are waiting for investigations to be completed. That is a very politically correct statement, but it also sounds like someone who does not want to take action. We know our police officers, given the right instructions, they can do a good work. We all remember when we lost a member of parliament, Honorable Were. Even before he was buried, the murder weapon had been traced. And remember, this is a murder that happened somewhere on the streets of Nairobi. How comes a murder that has been done inside the police station, we are still being told that IPO is investigating, we are still investigating? Surely we know that you are able to deliver results immediately. We know that you have the answers. This person did not stay alone in that police station. There were officers there. Those officers by now, someone should be behind bars. Someone should have taken plea. Someone should be answering as to how Albert lost his life. The first statement that was issued by the Director of Corporate Communications, Kenya Police Service, said that Albert banged his head on the wall. And that was very laughable. But for me, my concern is the police spokesman. He does not sit at Central Police Station. Someone must have given him that report for him to come to the public and say that this is what happened. Who is that person who misled the police spokesperson? Whoever gave that initial report must have been covering for something. A statement should have been taken, plea should have been taken by now. Even if they want more time for investigations, the court always allows around 14 to 21 days for investigations. But we want to see people being held accountable for their actions. And I want to urge the Kenya Police Service, please don't come with a story of inquest. We know how you people kill investigations. The moment you want to kill an investigation, you will say an inquest file has been opened. Have we as a country ever gotten any result from an inquest? We don't want to hear that this issue of Albert has been left for an inquest. We know proper investigations can be conducted and people can be held culpable. We demand justice for Albert. We demand justice for Kenyans, and we beseech the judiciary, please be firm. When these things come to your doorstep, let them know that you are also upholders of the rule of law and constitutionalism, and will protect human rights by all means. Thank you. Our National Vice President, Mr. Mwaura Kabata, who is here with us to make his remarks.
The month of June is a very sacred month for the Law Society as well as the judiciary of Kenya. You will all recall that in the month of June in 2016, the Law Society lost a very arduous and industrious member, Mr. Willie Kimani, who was killed together with his client and his taxi driver. And the month of June does not end there. You will all remember again that it is still in the same month that a sitting magistrate in Makadara was shot dead again. And the common denominator in these killings is the National Police Service. Sorry to use the word service in this context, because service does not amount to what its English equivalent stands to identify or describe. But the National Police Service is turning into a deep thorn. Is turning into a terror group that is out of control. We not only have independent institutions, but we also have a very robust and progressive constitutional order that has allowed us to progressively move both in terms of socio-economic but also social-cultural impetus towards development. We cannot sit pretty and say that everything is okay. As a law society, we affirm not only to enforce and ensure that the rule of law is not only maintained but progressively achieved towards enhancing good governance as well as a good index of human rights commitment. Here in Nakuru alone, if you read IPOA's report or the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights reports, you will see that periodically over the years, there is no improvement in terms of human rights compliance. And this is not just in the county of Nakuru, it extends to many other counties. And a time will come when the police will be below the law, if not within the law, because taking taking a life. For instance, Brian Odhiambo, and this is under the Kenya Wildlife Service. A young man, a young Kenyan, a young innocent Kenyan cannot lose his or her life and business continues as usual. And we are turning into a country that is statistically inclined towards an oral discourse of death. But then we do not talk about what happens after that death. There is a lot of human rights abuses that is going on in Kenya. And the police are not very far off from a perpetrator mentality. We thought that after the 2007 post-election violence and the reforms that were done with the Kriegler Commission, that some of even the identifiable names from a national police force to a national police service would mean something. As a law society, we will be taking a keen focus in these cases. I know through our chair and the branch here, we have been active in seeking to know the truth behind Brian Odhiambo's murder, and we have been in touch with the mother both in Nakuru and in Nairobi, and we will be very, very vocal about what has also happened to Mr. Albert Ojwang. We will be working with the advocates on record there, together with the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, as well as the Kenya National Human Rights Commission. But also for you media houses, you have a duty to service. You must report these stories. Some of them go unanswered because they are not reported. And a life in Kenya, it does not matter whether a life is in Nakuru or a life is in Garissa or a life is in Wajir. A life in Kenya is a life in Kenya. In fact, a life on the face of the world is a valuable life on the face of the world. If this would have happened to a child from a well-privileged background, I promise you that heads will have been rolling for now. And this only speaks to the fact that the selective application on how the law is being applied largely also speaks from the backgrounds of the families that are victim to these atrocities. Sad to say is that even the same police officers who are committing these atrocities do not come from families of better social underpinnings. And so it's a question that we must ask ourselves as Kenyans, where we want to see ourselves and the country that we want to rule, because surely you cannot kill all of us. We are too many, those of us who do not come from these well affluent families. And if you cannot finish us, then there is a possibility we are willing to work together to see a better Kenya. As members of the law society, we will always be on the front line to advocate for good governance as well as the rule of law. And I am grateful to the branch for taking up this initiative to call on to those rogue police officers who assume that they are above the law. We will catch them. Their experiences in this. And there is a need on reform, on arrest as well as prosecution. You cannot arrest someone in one corner of Kenya and intend to charge them in another corner of Kenya without having accountability. So thank you so much.